Welcome to Galactic Conundrums, where the mysteries of the universe come to life in the most unexpected ways. On this channel, we dive deep into the unexplained, the extraordinary, and the utterly mind-boggling, starting with a question that's been on every curious mind. Are we truly alone in the cosmos? From UFO sightings to the possibility of alien life, we explore the phenomenon of extraterrestrial existence through the lens of science, mystery, and discovery. But that's just the beginning. What happens when Earth's strange and dangerous wildlife meets the galactic community? Join us as we take you on a thrilling journey to Galactic University, where we'll challenge the very perception of humanity, revealing the untold stories of Earth's predators, stories so wild and unexpected, they've left even the most advanced species in the galaxy questioning everything they thought they knew. We'll explore shocking truths about creatures like the terrifying great white shark and other survival experts from our death world. You'll discover why the concept of fragility is a thing of the past for humans, and how Earth's apex predators are not just survivors, but forces of nature that demand awe and respect. Expect the unexpected, as we unravel the strange and fascinating truths about Earth, humanity, and beyond. Do you dare to explore the mysteries of the universe with us? Leave a comment, share your thoughts, and join the conversation, because at Galactic Conundrums, the more you know, the more you'll question everything. Stay curious, stay engaged, and don't forget to subscribe to keep unraveling the most mind-bending stories the cosmos has to offer. Welcome to the unknown. Welcome to Galactic Conundrums. The doors of the Galactic University classroom open, and Jason steps in, his boots softly clinking against the polished, translucent floor. His presence is an anomaly, an oddity, an echo of something out of place. The vast, glowing hall hums with an otherworldly energy. Strange symbols pulse along the walls. The air is thick with the scent of unknown elements, and soft lights shimmer above, casting flickering shadows. Around him, alien beings of various forms and sizes stir. Their eyes, or what passes for eyes in their alien physiology, lock onto him with silent, unspoken curiosity. Jason, voiceover. Here, I am the only human. Among beings that span the cosmos, that float, glide, or shimmer in and out of existence. The whispers of 1,000 species hum through the air, but none like me, none like Earth. I walk, and the room holds its breath, as though they expect me to fall apart at the slightest misstep. The beings around Jason shift uneasily. Some appear to be made of liquid light, their forms swirling like fluid in a constant state of flux. Others are crystalline, catching the dim light and reflecting it in a dazzling array of colors. A few resemble clouds of gas suspended in force fields, their forms momentarily shimmering before they solidify into a more defined shape. Their eyes, some glowing, some flickering, follow him. Jason steps into the room, his movements calm and controlled. The weight of the glances doesn't seem to faze him, but the tension in the air is palpable. His mere presence seems to bend the atmosphere, as if the very laws of nature are questioning his existence here. Jason, voiceover. They treat me like I might shatter at any moment, a fragile thing that exists only in their most delicate, uncertain thoughts. But what they don't understand is that I've survived a world filled with chaos, where every step can lead to destruction, where every day is a battle against forces far more dangerous than anything these beings could comprehend. The soft hum of the hall grows louder for a moment before it falls silent again, a stillness that stretches into the very marrow of Jason's bones. It's as though the entire universe has paused, holding its breath, waiting to see what this fragile human will do next. Yet, Jason merely stands there, unmoving, absorbing the alien gazes, the whispers, and the silent judgments that flood the room. And then, without a word, he begins to walk toward his seat, his movements deliberate, measured. The room, so vast and unfamiliar, seems to shrink with every step he takes, as if closing in on him. But Jason does not flinch. He is not afraid. He knows the truth. This is just another world, another challenge to conquer, like all the ones before it. As he takes his seat, the quiet tension remains, hanging in the air like the calm before a storm. Jason settles in, unaffected, ready for whatever comes next. The universe watches. The admissions officer, a towering, squid-like entity, glides forward with a graceful, liquid motion, its numerous tentacles undulating in the air, each tipped with iridescent bulbs that pulse softly with a rhythm almost akin to a heartbeat. The alien's translucent, gelatinous body shifts and sways, an ethereal fog that seems to distort the air around it, as though it were both there and not there at all. Its massive, bulbous eyes fixate on Jason, scanning him with an intensity that feels like 1,000 invisible threads gently probing his form, as if trying to discern the delicate inner workings of his body. Its deep, resonating voice reverberates through the space, rich and thick, like an ancient tide crashing on distant shores. Admissions officer, with concern. Human. Jason, we've been studying your species. We understand your planet's gravity is delicate for you. The pressure, the force, your bones, your internal organs are fragile under such strain. We would prefer to equip you with a gravity reducer, something to ease the burden on your primitive form. The alien's tentacles unfurl in a slow arc, gesturing as though the very air around him should be understood as a potential threat to Jason's fragile humanity. The notion seems so foreign to the alien, so natural, that it doesn't register the strangeness of its words. A low, ambient hum emanates from the ceiling, casting an eerie, dim glow over the room. Jason stands still, his posture relaxed, watching the alien as it continues its delicate dance of reassurance. The light flickers in sync with the strange rhythms of the alien's tentacles. Jason's eyes narrow slightly, a small smirk tugging at his lips. He understands the concern, he's felt it before. But something about the way they see him, as if he might collapse at the slightest nudge, irritates him. He steps forward with slow confidence, his feet making no sound on the glowing floor. His voice breaks the silence, calm but filled with an undeniable edge of resolve. Jason. No, I don't need any gravity reducers. I like my organs where they are, thank you. The words hang in the air, simple yet sharp, as the room falls silent, His gaze doesn't falter as he looks directly at the admissions officer, their pulsating, undulating form trembling ever so slightly as if they hadn't expected such defiance. For a fleeting moment, Jason feels the shift in the atmosphere, something ancient, something that's been hanging, waiting to see if he would break. But Jason remains unaffected. His body, accustomed to the weight of Earth's relentless gravity, stands firm. He has walked the fine line between life and death for years. No alien theory on fragility will convince him otherwise. The admissions officer's tentacles shudder, and the rhythmic pulse of their glowing body shifts, as if reconsidering. The air between them thickens with a silent tension, and for a brief moment, the room seems to hold its breath. Then, without another word, the admissions officer retracts its appendages, its glowing eyes still watching Jason with a mixture of fascination and something else, perhaps a quiet respect for the human who had not flinched, who had not bowed to the alien fears of fragility. The humming fades slightly, the tension dissipates, but the air still feels charged, as if Jason's simple words had struck a deeper chord in this mysterious, alien place. The lecture hall grows still as Professor Ticket's Velo makes her entrance. She is unlike anything Jason has ever seen, a shifting mass of liquid light and molten forms, suspended in a translucent, glowing body. Her shape fluctuates gently, as though she were made from the essence of light itself, moving in slow, fluid undulations. Her body shifts between warm hues, golden yellows, fiery oranges, and deep, glowing reds, like the steady flow of lava trapped within an ever-changing container. Her form is both ethereal and solid, a paradox that makes her presence captivating yet unsettling. As she moves, a soft, almost musical hum fills the air, as if her very existence is a symphony of cosmic elements in motion. A faint, liquid ripple follows her path, stretching out before evaporating into the air. When she speaks, her voice is an amalgamation of crackling embers and molten warmth. It resonates in the room like the sound of distant thunder, both comforting and foreboding. Professor Ticket's Velo. Please be careful with the new holo displays, Jason. Earth's bones are rather primitive and prone to injury. Her voice lingers in the air, vibrating with a strange, almost maternal concern. Her glowing eyes flickering like burning coals shift toward Jason, her gaze sweeping over him, examining him as though she were trying to determine if the pressure of the environment would be too much for him to bear. The holodisplays hum to life around them, casting strange geometric shapes and holographic images that flicker like living, breathing things. They are suspended in mid-air, floating effortlessly, their edges crackling with energy. Bright tendrils of light dance within them, shifting rapidly, as if alive and anticipating the touch of a hand. As Jason reaches for one of the floating displays, Professor Ticket's Velo extends one of her molten tendrils in an almost protective motion, her form shimmering with a ripple of anxiety. Professor Ticket's Velo, softly, with concern. I understand you may be accustomed to more rigid forms. But the new technology here is calibrated for environments like ours. I would hate to see your fragile physiology melt, or worse, break. Her molten form shudders ever so slightly, a flicker of heat traveling down her length. The warning, while kind, is suffused with an underlying fear of something so simple and yet so complex, the fragile human body. She gazes at Jason with a kind of pity, as if she cannot fathom how he survives in a world so full of unrelenting forces. Jason, feeling the weight of her concern, pauses for a moment. But instead of retreating, he reaches out slowly, his fingers brushing against the holographic interface. The display shudders, but does not shatter. The air around him remains still, as if the universe itself is watching, holding its breath. For a moment, the room seems to hold its collective tension, waiting to see if the fragile human will crumble under the weight of such an alien environment. But Jason, unaffected, merely smiles slightly and pulls his hand away, the display still humming gently in place. Jason, calmly. "I think I'll be fine." Professor Ticket's Vela watches him for a long moment, her glowing form rippling with an unreadable expression. Her tendrils retract slowly, and she takes a moment to recompose herself, as if recalibrating her thoughts. The room settles back into its soft hum, the tension easing though the air still carries a trace of the strange, protective concern that lingers from her earlier words. Jason, in contrast, stands unaffected, his gaze steady and calm, as though he were prepared to meet whatever the universe had to offer. The room grows quiet as Vio, a student of crystalline form, rises from their seat. Their body shimmers with refracted light, like a living prism, each movement causing dazzling reflections to scatter across the walls. Their limbs, sharp and angular, are composed entirely of living crystal, smooth and faceted, catching the ambient light in intricate patterns. As they step forward, the light dances across their form, creating a spectrum of colors that almost seems to warp the very space around them. Vio's voice cuts through the hum of the room, rich and resonant, carrying an undeniable pride. The air itself seems to bend around them, as if nature itself pauses to listen. Vio. Behold, the Silic Render. It is the mightiest of hunters, a creature forged from the deepest core of the planet's soul. It can consume entire geological formations. At the wave of Vio's crystalline hand, a hologram flickers to life in the center of the room. The image is enormous, towering over the class as it materializes. What appears is a creature that seems to be forged from the very mountains themselves. Its form is jagged and massive, like a living spire of diamond and obsidian. Its body is made of crystal so clear and sharp that it reflects light like 1,000 razor blades, casting cold, fragmented shadows in every direction. The creature's limbs are like towering, angular mountains, its steps leaving cracks in the earth with every movement. The air hums with the weight of its presence, vibrating with a deep, resonant power that seems to echo from the very depths of the planet it calls home. Its head, a jagged mass of shining diamond, glints ominously as it surveys the land, its eyes glowing with an unnatural intensity. Vio. The Silic Render is not merely a predator, it is a force of nature. It carves through the planet's surface, devouring mountains, reshaping landscapes in its wake. It moves with a grace that belies its size, its crystalline body shifting and bending with an elegance that can only be born from the core of the universe itself. The hologram shifts to show the Silic render in action. It is tearing through the earth with terrifying ease, its limbs slicing through solid rock and molten core alike. With every strike, entire mountain ranges crumble and fall, consumed by its insatiable hunger. The sound is a thunderous roar, a cacophony of destruction that seems to shake the very foundation of the world it inhabits. The class watches, transfixed, as the creature devours the massive geological formation rock, minerals, and crystal alike disintegrating into nothingness before its crushing force. The display pulses with energy, the colors flashing brilliantly as the creature's hunger knows no bounds. Vio, with a satisfied smile. This is the true power of the Silic render. It can consume the heart of the world, and yet it remains unbroken, unyielding. It is not simply a predator, it is the planet's answer to existence itself. There is nothing that can stop it, nothing that can stand against it. The hologram flickers and fades, leaving only a shimmering afterglow in the air, like a fading star. Vio stands tall, their crystalline form glowing softly with the remnants of the display. Their eyes gleam with an almost reverential pride as they look over their audience, their voice still resonating in the stillness that follows. The room is silent, as if the class is still processing the magnitude of what they've just seen. There is awe, yes, but also an undeniable feeling of unease. The very idea of such a creature, something that could reshape the earth itself, hangs heavily in the air. Vio's smile deepens, the light reflecting off their sharp, crystalline features. They have made their point. In the world of predators, the Silic render is a titan, unmatched and unstoppable. The atmosphere shifts as Zara, a living crystal being, stands before the class. Their form is delicate, an intricate lattice of translucent crystal that seems to glow faintly from within. The light refracts through their body in soft, soothing waves, casting rainbow-colored shadows that ripple across the floor. As Zara steps forward, they hesitate, their crystalline form flickering slightly, as if their own nervousness is causing their body to lose its perfect symmetry. Zara clears their throat, a soft, melodic sound that echoes through the room like the chiming of distant bells. The glow from their body intensifies for a moment as they attempt to steady themselves, but their voice quivers, betraying their unease. Zara, nervously. Today, I would like to introduce you to a creature from my home world. It's an atmospheric predator, one that feeds on the raw energy of lightning storms. It thrives in the most violent and chaotic environments. With a wave of their crystalline hand, a new hologram flickers to life, the edges of the image crackling with energy as it takes form. The display expands, stretching across the room like a storm brewing on the horizon. What emerges is a being of sheer power, a swirling mass of dark clouds, its form shifting and roiling, lightning flashing within its depths. It is a living storm, its shape ever-changing, a twisting vortex of energy and chaos. The creature, though not entirely solid, exudes an aura of violent force. Bolts of lightning streak through its center, and the clouds ripple with electric charge. The air seems to hum in the presence of this being, as if the atmosphere itself has been altered, reshaped by the presence of something far more ancient than any mortal force. Zara, with awe. This is the Thundercrasher. It roams the skies during the fiercest storms, feeding off the raw energy that courses through the atmosphere. It absorbs lightning, storing it in its core, becoming more powerful with each strike it consumes. The hologram shifts, showing the creature in action. The Thundercrasher moves through a swirling tempest, its form undulating with the force of the storm itself. With every flash of lightning, the creature surges forward, consuming the energy and growing stronger. The crackling sound of thunder reverberates in the air as the Thundercrasher harnesses the energy around it, using it as fuel for its insatiable hunger. The display zooms in, showing the creature's core, a swirling mass of raw energy and light, pulsing with an eerie, almost sentient rhythm. The creature seems to absorb the lightning without effort, growing larger, more formidable with each passing second. Zara. The Thundercrasher is a master of chaos. It does not hunt in the conventional sense. It is a force of nature, feeding off the very storms that rage across its world. Its energy is boundless, unstoppable. And once it has consumed enough, it can discharge that energy in a single, catastrophic burst, leveling entire cities in the blink of an eye. As the hologram shifts again, it shows the Thundercrasher releasing a massive explosion of energy, a blinding flash that engulfs everything in its path. The shockwave tears through the landscape, scattering the remnants of the storm like dust. The classroom is filled with a vivid afterimage of that immense power, the crackling energy hanging in the air long after the image fades. Zara takes a deep breath, their form flickering once more, as if the energy from the presentation has unsettled them further. They glance nervously at the class, waiting for the inevitable response. The room is silent, the hum of the air almost deafening as the weight of the Thundercrasher's power settles over them all. Jason, muttering to himself, a quiet smile tugging at the corner of his lips. That's just a cloud throwing a tantrum. The comment is soft, but it carries the weight of a thought far beyond the terror the creature's display had elicited. Jason's eyes glint with a quiet amusement, the idea of such raw, untamable power reduced to a simple, almost mundane observation. He stands there, unaffected by the storm in the hologram, as the room continues to buzz with the lingering shock of Zara's presentation. The atmosphere in the room shifts once again as Milo, the fuzzy empathy, steps forward. Their form is a soft, rounded mass of shimmering fur, a gentle, plush being that seems almost entirely harmless. A low hum surrounds them as their body ripples with every subtle emotional fluctuation, their fur vibrating with the ebb and flow of their empathic abilities. The warm glow of their presence fills the room, casting a soft, comforting light, yet there's something behind their eyes, something that hints at the depths of their world's horrors. Milo stands still for a moment, their large, glowing eyes focused on the class, their body vibrating with a strange, nervous energy. Despite their outward softness, there's an undeniable tension beneath their plush exterior. They take a deep breath, their fur puffing up slightly in a nervous reaction before they address the class with an almost childlike enthusiasm. Milo. I come from a world where the most fearsome predator is, well, it's small. But it's terrifying. Very terrifying, but also very soft and fluffy. With a wave of their tiny, fur-covered arm, a new hologram begins to materialize. At first, it's just a small blur of soft, silken fur, the kind you might expect from a creature that could curl up in your palm. But as the image sharpens, the creature takes form as small, round, and seemingly innocuous being, about the size of a hand. Its fur is impossibly thick, a dense blanket of soft, silvery strands that shimmer in the light. Despite its softness, the creature is clearly designed for survival. Its eyes, bright and piercing, gleam with an unnerving intelligence as it moves, a sense of calm before the storm. Its small, round body is built for speed, with muscular limbs tucked beneath the fur, poised for rapid, unpredictable movement. Milo. This is the terror floof. It may look soft, but don't let that fool you. This little creature is capable of eating prey 3 times its size. It has a jaw that can expand wide enough to swallow something as large as a full-grown rodent from my world, no problem at all. The hologram shifts, showing the terror floof in action. It's perched on a rock, its fur blending seamlessly with the surrounding foliage. Suddenly, a creature much larger than it stumbles into view, an unsuspecting prey, unaware of the lurking menace. Without warning, the terror floof pounces. The speed is almost too quick to follow, its small body exploding into action. It leaps, and in an instant, it has its prey in its jaws, the creature's surprisingly large mouth expanding to accommodate the catch. The prey is swallowed whole, its struggles futile against the swift predator. The hologram zooms in on the terror floof's face, revealing its sharp teeth hidden beneath the fluff, almost imperceptible until it's too late. The small creature's round, fluffy body shakes with the effort, but its prey is quickly subdued. The softness of its fur seems almost like a cruel disguise, as though it is trying to lull its prey into a false sense of security before the lethal strike. Milo, smiling slightly, their voice filled with fondness. It may seem harmless, but that's the trick. It uses its softness to lure prey into a sense of safety before it strikes. The moment the prey gets close enough, the terror floof is on it like lightning. The hologram shifts again, showing a peaceful scene in the wild, where the terror floof rests after its hunt, its fur billowing out like a puffball, blending perfectly with the surroundings. Despite its predatory nature, it looks utterly innocuous in this moment, soft, peaceful, a part of the landscape. Milo. And after it's eaten, it just sits there, puffed up like a ball of fluff, waiting for the next unsuspecting creature to come by. It's terrifying, but... Milo's voice softens as they smile gently, their fur rippling with an odd mix of affection and mild embarrassment. Milo. It's just so cute. Look at that fur. Who could be scared of something so fluffy? The hologram flickers and fades, leaving behind the image of the terror floof's resting form, its fur slowly settling, giving the illusion of peace and calm. Milo steps back, their form rippling with a mix of pride and a strange, endearing shyness, as if they expect the class to share in their admiration for this deceptively dangerous creature. The room is still for a moment, absorbing the strange juxtaposition of terror and tenderness. The terror floof, though small, has left a lasting impression, an example of how appearances can deceive even the most experienced predators. The room grows hushed as Jason steps to the front, his presence calm yet commanding. His stance is confident, unshaken by the tension that fills the air around him. He surveys the room of expectant eyes, each one filled with curiosity and uncertainty, as if they know what's coming, but can't quite fathom it. Jason takes a deep breath, his voice steady and assured as he begins his presentation. Jason. Let me introduce Earth's ultimate predator, the great white shark. At the mention of the name, a faint, almost imperceptible ripple passes through the class. Alien beings of all shapes and sizes shift in their seats, their eyes widening slightly. There is a shift in the atmosphere, a subtle shift that hints at something primal, something deep within the ancient instincts of every creature in the room. A hologram bursts to life in front of him. At first, it's a simple silhouette, a sleek, dark figure cutting through the depths of a shadowy, vast ocean. Slowly, the figure becomes more defined. The haunting shape of the great white shark emerges from the murk of the deep sea, its powerful, streamlined body rippling through the water with predatory grace. Its long, pointed fins slice through the current, cutting through the ocean like a silent force of nature. Jason's voice breaks through the tension, slow and deliberate. Jason. This is the great white shark, an apex predator that has ruled the oceans for millions of years. Built for speed, precision, and pure power, it is one of the most fearsome creatures to ever exist on Earth. The hologram zooms in, capturing the cold, calculating gaze of the shark as it swims effortlessly through the water. Its body is a perfect machine of efficiency, muscles rippling beneath the smooth, gray skin, the dark, menacing eyes watching every movement, every flutter of life in its domain. And then, in a flash of motion, the scene shifts. The shark surges forward, cutting through the water at incredible speed. The prey, an unsuspecting seal, moves along the surface, unaware of the impending threat. The shark closes the distance in mere seconds, its body coiling and then exploding with unimaginable speed, striking with the force of a freight train. The impact is visceral. The seal is caught in the shark's massive jaws. The predator's teeth, sharp, serrated, and numerous, sink in effortlessly, tearing through flesh with terrifying precision. The water around them blooms in a spray of blood, a stark contrast to the dark blue ocean. Jason, calmly. It strikes with such speed and power that its prey often doesn't have time to react. The shark's teeth are constantly replaced, like a conveyor belt of death, ensuring that nothing can escape once it's in a shark's grasp. The hologram shifts again, showing the great white breaching the surface of the water, launching itself from the depths with terrifying force. The shark leaps entirely out of the water, a massive arc of silver and muscle, before crashing back down with a mighty splash. The seal is nowhere to be seen, already consumed in a single, savage strike. The class, stunned by the raw power of the display, shifts uncomfortably in their seats. Some of the more delicate species seem to recoil, their bodies rippling with unease. The sharp, rhythmic beating of their hearts seems to echo through the room, a response to the sheer violence of the shark's attack. Jason watches the reactions with quiet satisfaction, his expression calm, almost detached, as if he has become one with the deadly force he speaks of. Jason, with a slight smile. But this predator isn't just about raw power. It's about efficiency, precision, and patience. It waits, watches, and strikes when the time is right. The hologram fades into the shadowy depths of the ocean, leaving only the eerie, unsettling silence of the sea behind. Jason pauses for a moment, letting the weight of the predator's presence linger in the air before he continues. Jason. The great white shark is a hunter, a survivor, a machine built for one purpose, to dominate the oceans. And no matter how much we may fear it, it is simply doing what it has done for millions of years. The room is still, heavy with the weight of Jason's words and the haunting image of the great white shark. Alien students sit motionless, their eyes wide with a mixture of awe and trepidation, as if the very idea of such a creature has shaken them to their core. The predator from Earth has made an indelible mark, and they are left to wonder, what else does this death world have in store? Jason's voice cuts through the heavy silence, steady and measured, his words sinking into the room like ripples through a still pond. His eyes remain fixed on the hologram of the great white shark, still suspended in the air before him. The creature's sleek, muscular form moves with an eerie precision, every movement calculated, as if it is the very embodiment of death in motion. Jason. The great white is an ambushed predator. It attacks from below, using speed and power. The hologram shifts, showing the shark as it glides beneath the surface of the water. It moves with a grace that betrays its size, its body cutting through the deep blue sea like a shadow, silent and unseen. Its eyes, cold and calculating, scan the water above, watching the movements of its prey. The seal above swims unaware, basking in the safety of the ocean's surface. Jason. It doesn't rush in. It doesn't need to. The shark waits. It watches always below, always unseen. It moves through the water like a ghost, slipping through the currents with barely a ripple. Its prey never sees it coming. The hologram zooms in, showing the great white silently coiling beneath the seal. The water around the shark is still, almost unnaturally calm, as though the ocean itself is holding its breath. Then, with a sudden and terrifying speed, the shark explodes upward. The force is nearly indescribable, as if the very laws of physics are bent by the power contained within the predator's muscular frame. In an instant, the shark closes the distance between itself and the seal. Its mouth opens wide, rows of serrated teeth gleaming like jagged knives, ready to snap shut in a heartbeat. Jason. When it strikes with everything it has. The shark bursts from the depths with explosive power, traveling at speeds that the prey cannot escape. It's a surprise attack, an ambush so swift that even the fastest swimmer cannot react in time. The hologram shows the moment of the attack. The great white leaps from the water, its powerful tail propelling it upward with terrifying velocity. The seal, now in the air with the shark, is helpless against the predator's jaws. The world seems to slow down as the shark's mouth closes, and the seal is gone, swallowed whole in a single, seamless motion. The water splashes violently around them, droplets catching the light in mid-air, frozen for just a moment before gravity pulls them back into the sea. Jason, voice low, with a slight smile. It's a perfect blend of power and surprise. The shark doesn't need to chase, it waits for the right moment, when the prey is vulnerable, when it's unaware. And when that moment comes, it strikes faster than lightning, using its immense power to subdue its target in a single, decisive blow. Jason gestures to the hologram, where the great white shark circles, its sleek body gliding beneath the surface, its eyes never leaving its surroundings. The shark, now calm after the kill, continues to patrol the waters, always searching, always waiting. The image is a reminder of the predator's patience, the silent, deadly force of nature that bides its time until the perfect opportunity presents itself. Jason. That's the key to the great white's success. It doesn't waste energy. It waits. It moves when it's ready. It never chases, never makes an unnecessary move. Every strike is calculated, deliberate. The shark is a master of the ambush, silent, deadly, unstoppable. As the hologram fades, the room remains quiet. Jason's words hang in the air like a lingering echo, and the alien students are left in the wake of the raw, brutal efficiency of the great white shark. The predator's abilities are not just physical, they are a testament to the lethal art of patience and precision, a silent force that dominates the oceans without ever needing to rush. The hologram flickers and shifts once again, this time transforming into a violent, chaotic scene beneath the waves. Jason's voice echoes through the room, calm but with an undeniable weight to it, as the underwater world takes shape before them. Jason. But there's more to the great white's hunting techniques than a solitary strike. They also hunt in groups, creating a terrifying spectacle. The scene begins with a surge of movement beneath the surfaced sharks, dozens of them, cutting through the water with terrifying force. The water is a roiling mass of silver, teeth, and muscle. The sharks move as one, their sleek bodies darting in and out of the murky depths, a synchronized dance of death. The light filtering through the water casts eerie shadows on the creatures below, making them seem larger, more monstrous than they truly are. Jason pauses for a moment, allowing the image to settle in. Jason. When a great white goes into a feeding frenzy, it's not a solitary hunter, but a coordinated attack. A deadly alliance of predators, each vying for control, yet working together in a terrifying harmony. The hologram intensifies, showing the chaos unfolding. A single piece of prey, perhaps a seal or some other unfortunate creature, struggles in the water, surrounded by the sharks. The sharks move in a frenzy, circling the prey like wolves closing in on their kill. Each shark is a blur of motion, a perfect killing machine, its teeth flashing like blades in a dim light. The water churns with a violent energy, turning into a frenzy of thrashing limbs, powerful tails, and sharp teeth. The prey attempts to escape, but it is hopeless. Every time it tries to break free, another shark surges forward, its mouth opening wide, ready to tear into the helpless creature. The water is stained with blood, swirling around in the currents, mixing with the frenzy of the shark's movements. Jason. In a frenzy, the sharks lose their individual restraint. They become a collective force, driven by instinct. It's chaos beneath the surface, a violent storm of jaws and fins. And the prey? It has no chance. The hologram zooms in on the moment of the kill. A shark lunges forward, its massive jaws closing around the prey. The other sharks move in as well, snapping and thrashing, creating a whirlpool of violence. The seal is caught in the center, its struggle futile against the combined might of the sharks. The feeding frenzy continues, the waters thick with the scent of blood and the frenzy of feeding. Jason, with quiet intensity. What makes the feeding frenzy so terrifying is not just the violence of the attack, it's the sheer relentlessness. Once a feeding frenzy begins, it's hard to stop. The sharks will fight each other, tearing into their prey until nothing is left. They are unstoppable in their hunger. The hologram shifts again, showing the sharks slowly dispersing after the frenzy has passed. The water settles, the violence over, but the echoes of the chaos linger in the now calm sea. The prey, consumed, is nothing more than a distant memory. Jason allows the hologram to fade, the image of the sharks lingering in the minds of his audience. The room is still, a quiet tension hanging in the air as the alien students process what they've just witnessed. Jason. It's a spectacle of nature. Uncontrolled, primal violence. A reminder that when great whites hunt in groups, they become something far more terrifying than a solitary predator. They become an unstoppable force. The room remains silent, the weight of Jason's words and the vivid images still fresh in the minds of his classmates. The idea of a feeding frenzy, a chaotic, relentless wave of predators moving as one, is a concept that has left a mark on every one of them. As the hologram fades, the room plunges into an eerie silence. The image of the feeding frenzy, the brutal violence, the blood-churning chaos lingers in the minds of every alien present. The shadows of the great white sharks, their jaws snapping, seem to hang in the air like a dark omen. The class, once buzzing with curiosity, is now utterly still, as though time itself has momentarily frozen. Jason stands at the front, his gaze steady, observing the reactions unfolding in the room. Alien students shift uncomfortably in their seats, their bodies trembling with an emotion they cannot fully understand. Some of them begin to ripple, their forms distorting with visible unease. The weight of the scene they just witnessed presses down on them, the horror of the chaos, the sheer savagery, too much for their minds to process. A silicon-based student, once sharp and crystalline, begins to fracture, their translucent surface splitting like a pane of glass under pressure. The cracks spread quickly, like spiderwebs of stress and fear. The student shudders, their form breaking into pieces, falling to the floor in a quiet, surreal collapse. The sound of their shattered form is unsettling, a quiet, resonating chime as the crystals hit the ground, each piece a jagged, broken memory of the creature they once were. The class watches in stunned horror, too transfixed to move, as if they were all caught in the web of the moment. Other students, who are semi-corporeal beings, begin to shimmer with disorientation. Their forms blur, flickering like a malfunctioning light, their usual control slipping away as the emotional weight of the presentation overwhelms their delicate, intangible natures. Milo, their voice trembling, fur fluffed up with confusion. Do you live with these creatures? Their words, quiet but filled with disbelief, echo through the room, pulling the attention of the class back to Jason. The question hangs in the air, as though the very concept of coexisting with such lethal creatures is too unfathomable for anyone to grasp. The creatures that live in Earth's oceans, the predators that hunt and kill with such savage efficiency, do humans really walk beside them, live alongside them, face them every day? Jason doesn't flinch, his expression calm, the reality of his words settling around him like the cold weight of the ocean itself. Jason. Yes. We live with them. We share the same waters, the same world. But we don't fear them. We understand them. As he speaks, the class remains in stunned silence, the implications of his words sinking in. The idea of survival alongside such unrelenting predators, a world where creatures of such terror exist, is a concept so alien, so foreign, it's almost impossible for these beings to truly comprehend. The room is filled with a palpable tension, as though everyone is trying to process the depth of what they've just learned, not just about Earth's oceans, but about the humans who call it home. The faint hum of the room, once a constant presence, now feels distant, like the whisper of a storm far off on the horizon. The silence in the room thickens, becoming a weight that presses down on every being present. The air seems to hum with a strange energy, almost as if the very fabric of reality is in flux, strained under the weight of what has just been revealed. Alien students, once composed and controlled, now ripple with unease, their bodies shimmering in erratic pulses. The shattered remains of the crystalline student lie scattered across the floor, a stark, jagged reminder of the terror that the feeding frenzy has invoked. In the midst of this chaos, the door to the lecture hall shudders and opens. The presence of Dean A.Y.Va, a being made entirely of living mathematics, fills the room with an unsettling precision. A.Y.Va's form is a shifting lattice of geometric shapes and glowing equations, a cosmic enigma held together by abstract, yet undeniable logic. Their body is a fluid, ever-changing construct of numbers and symbols, pulsating with the rhythm of a vast, infinite calculation. As A.Y.Va steps into the room, the entire atmosphere shifts. Their form flickers with an ethereal light, as if the very space around them is bending and warping to accommodate their presence. With each movement, a soft, reverberating hum fills the air, like the sound of distant, incomprehensible calculations being solved in real time. Their gaze, an almost infinite expanse of numbers and formulas, sweeps over the class, taking in the chaos with a detached yet curious intensity. The students, still in the throes of shock, falter beneath the weight of A.Y.Va's gaze. Some adjust their forms, attempting to piece themselves back together, while others flicker in and out of existence, struggling to hold onto their solidity. Reality itself seems to bend and stretch, caught in the wake of the Dean's arrival. Dean A.Y.Va. We might need to update Earth's classification. The words hang in the air, a simple statement that carries an undercurrent of deep concern. A.Y.Va's voice, both soft and commanding, echoes through the room like the reverberations of a cosmic pulse. It's as if they've calculated the exact nature of the impact this class has had on the very fabric of their understanding of Earth. The quiet authority in their tone leaves no room for debate, only the cold certainty that something has shifted irrevocably. As A.Y.Va surveys the room, their glowing eyes, if they can be called eyes, flicker with subtle adjustments, recalculating the probability of the universe's reaction to what has just unfolded. They hover in midair, their form geometrically perfect, a manifestation of pure intellect. But even in their endless, mathematical precision, there's a sense of unease, a subtle shift in the numbers that suggests even they, a being of living equations, find this display unsettling. The room continues to breathe with the weight of the moment, as students slowly begin to piece themselves together, adjusting their fluctuating forms in response to the reality-bending shock of the great white shark's deadly beauty. A.Y.Va takes a few steps forward, and with a slight pulse of their form, they effortlessly float over the fractured crystalline remains of V. Their voice, once again resonating through the space, is filled with a curious calm, as though speaking to themselves as much as to the class. Dean A.Y.Va. It seems Earth's classification as a protected habitat might be insufficient. We have underestimated the dangers of this planet. This great white shark is not simply a predator. It is a force of nature, and the human species has learned to survive alongside it, even thrive. The Dean's form ripples with what might be concern, though it is impossible to tell beneath the layers of abstract geometry. There is a pause, and for the briefest of moments, the room is filled with a low hum of energy, the air thick with the weight of new understanding. Dean A.Y.Va, softly, as if to themselves. Perhaps a new designation is required. Extreme caution is not enough. This planet, this death world, has far more to offer, and far more to fear. The room trembles as A.Y.Va begins to process the new data, their form pulsating with rapid, elegant shifts in patterns and symbols, recalibrating the vast, unseen equations of the universe. The students watch, still in shock, but with a new understanding of the fragility of their perceptions of how Earth, once considered a protected anomaly, now presents itself as something far more complex and dangerous. and as a .y.va hovers over the class, their attention now turned to Jason, the source of the revelation. There is a faint shimmer in the air, a sign that reality itself is still adjusting to the full weight of what has been uncovered. The mystery of Earth's true nature has only just begun to unravel. As DNA.y.va retreats, their form flickering and recalibrating reality, a strange sense of finality hangs in the air. The room is still, each student slowly returning to their normal state. The disorienting chaos of the feeding frenzy, the shocking revelations about Earth's violent predators, lingers like a deep hum beneath their thoughts. Jason stands tall, a quiet satisfaction settling over him like a cloak. His lips curl into a slight smile as he watches the class regain some semblance of composure. The tension in the air hasn't completely dissipated, but now, there's a shift in the way the room perceives him. No longer the fragile human they once thought, he now holds a new kind of power and knowledge that has shattered their illusions. Jason, voiceover. Now, Galactic U knows better than to treat me like fragile cotton candy. And yet, Milo made a documentary about me, humans, the species that survived a death world. As his voice reverberates in the quiet room, the subtle hum of energy surrounding them seems to grow softer. The alien students, though still processing the depths of what they've learned, now regard Jason with a new respect. The fear that once lingered has been replaced by awe, by the understanding that humans are not just survivors of their world, they are shaped by it, hardened by forces far beyond the comprehension of these other species. Milo, their voice eager, eyes wide with fascination. Do you have more of these dangerous creatures? I want to learn about them. Jason grins, his expression softening as he watches Milo's fur ripple with excitement. The fuzzball empathy has been one of the few to truly embrace his strange world with curiosity, not fear, and it's a refreshing change from the others. Jason, grinning widely. Let me tell you about the honey badger. At the mention of the honey badger, the room falls into a curious, silent expectation. Even the alien students who had once looked at him with skepticism now listen intently, the air thick with anticipation. The honey badger, an infamous creature from Earth known for its ferocity despite its small size, is just another layer to the mystery of Earth's wild and untamable nature. Jason, voiceover. The honey badger isn't just some small, cute creature. It's an unstoppable force of nature. It doesn't back down from anything, not even the deadliest predators. It can withstand venom, it can fight off creatures many times its size, and it does it all with sheer determination and an almost reckless bravado. Jason pauses for a moment, letting the weight of his words settle in, before continuing. Jason, grinning, his eyes sparkling with a dark humor. And when it comes to a fight, the honey badger just doesn't care. It's one of Earth's most fearless creatures, and believe me, nothing says survival more than that. The hologram in front of Jason flickers for a moment, showing images of the honey badger in action taking on venomous snakes, fighting off predators much larger than itself, and emerging victorious, unscathed despite the odds. The small creature's tenacity is a perfect example of Earth's brutal, unforgiving ecosystems. The students in the class look at each other, their eyes wide, their forms flickering with a mix of awe and disbelief. Earth's wildlife is unlike anything they've ever imagined, creatures that thrive in chaos, that survive through sheer willpower and an almost mystical toughness. Milo, giddily. That's amazing. I have to learn more. Can we do a whole documentary on this honey badger? Jason chuckles softly, his amusement genuine. Jason, voice over. And so it begins. Milo's documentary will go on to become one of the most viewed across the galaxy, a testament to Earth's wild, untamable spirit. But I think the real story here is how they've finally realized we're not the fragile creatures they thought we were. As the room slowly returns to its usual hum, the students seem to be absorbing the magnitude of the information they've just received, their minds working to make sense of the strange, unpredictable world they've just begun to understand. And though they still have much to learn, there's a palpable shift in the way they look at Earth, and at Jason, the only human in the room. Jason smiles, his eyes glinting with quiet pride, knowing that in this vast, cosmic university, Earth will no longer be seen as a fragile, distant planet. No, it will be seen as a world of untold danger, inhabited by a species that survived it, and continues to thrive. Thank you for joining us on this thrilling journey through the mysteries of Earth and the cosmos. From the terrifying beauty of Earth's apex predators to the mind-bending truths about humanity, we've only scratched the surface. As Galactic University recalibrates its understanding of our world, we're left with one question: what other secrets does the universe hold? Stay curious, keep exploring, and remember, the universe is full of conundrums waiting to be solved. If you enjoyed this journey, leave a comment and let us know what mysteries you'd like us to unravel next. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss an adventure. Until next time, keep your eyes on the skies and your mind open. The unknown awaits at Galactic Conundrums.